Let's see how you do under pressure. Oh, yeah. I've been wanting this shit forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Okay. Hey. Yeah. Ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I wake up early, feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to the paper, boy. Extra, extra. Fuck with me, you know that I got it. Come with me, let's take a trip to the islands. We up on the jet, we'll do more than just fly on it. Stand on that hill, you gon' die on it. Boom, boom. Baby, I'm not one of them, you should try on it. Miss me with all that, I'm on to the next. Fuck this up, I send you back to your ex. But good luck with that, this is big as it gets. Hey, let's see how you do under pressure. Let's see how you do under pressure. Give them a name to remember. Hey, let's see how you do under pressure. Let's see how you do under pressure. A moment can live on forever. Yeah. Oh shit, they don't let me shoot a whole clip. Firepower in this coalition. We just turned the field into a demolition. It was desolate.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to the eCarrierCheck show. Excited to be here. Man, I tell you what, it's been a fun-filled week. We've talked to a lot of people, but we have got the man, the myth, the legend on today. We have got Will Jenkins on. I am jacked for you to be on today, man. How's your day? Oh, we can't hear you, brother.
Man, if I unmuted my microphone, that'd be helpful. I just finished a workout a moment ago. Got absolutely crushed by my trainer. It was good though, so I'm feeling good.
Do you work out from home, or do you go to your local gym, or what's that look like?
Yeah, so my trainer manages a space that's really, really nice. So I go there 2 times during the week, and then I go to a gym not far from my place a couple other days to put some work in. So
Heck yeah, man. That's awesome.
That's freaking incredible. You know, the last time we had you on, it was 8 months ago. It seems like it was just yesterday.
Dude, I know.
You know, obviously, Will, you started this company in a journey aspect here, no pun intended. But, you know, how are things going in your world? Because you guys have you got a big team. You got a lot going on, brother. I love what you're doing. But tell me how recruiting is, because you play such a vital role in this industry to find quality people to put them in the places that they need to be at.
yeah, it's been really fun. So we launched officially November 27th. And so at that point, there were 3 of us. Added a full-time recruiter in January and then another full-time recruiter in March. So we have 2 full-time recruiters. I've got a head of marketing, Erin Sweeney. She's incredible. And then a head of business ops, Maya Quijada. Our first full-time recruiter was Morgan McDermott. And then we hired Nikki Childers in March, and then added someone to the marketing team, Valeria, in June to help Aaron with marketing. And so incredible team. I'm very appreciative for each of them. They do and just great work, high quality. And so the 3 things that we offer in the market: recruiting, training, and then we don't market it broadly, but we consult with organizations strategically to help build structure and process. So those are the 3 offerings: recruiting, consulting, and training. And it's been a lot of fun, man. I love the clients we work with. It's really cool to help people go find their next opportunities. And most of what I do doesn't really seem like work, because I just get a chance to help friends and people that I've built relationships with go and grow their businesses or find ways to be more successful. So it's been a blast.
That's awesome.
Yeah, really.
You know, the last 10 months, it's been kind of interesting too. And I'm going to guess, you know, sometimes you're kind of the secret sauce behind some of this. But you know, what's interesting is, you know, as you're scrolling LinkedIn, you're like, oh man, that gal or that guy just took that job. That's huge. But they don't really, you know, there's no street cred behind there going, Will Jenkins helped.
Yeah.
But there's some wild changes in our industry with people kind of going in different places. And I love seeing that. And I know you're behind it. Every time there's somebody getting a new job, I'm like, Will Jenkins did that.
We definitely didn't do all of them. There have been some fun placements and some really cool people that we've had a chance to partner with to go find their next opportunities. And so it's really fulfilling, because there are people that just need the right company to go shine and be a part of. And so if you can get in that room and help make the right connections, that's really what recruiting is. You understand what a client needs, you understand the capabilities of the candidate, you put the 2 together. And a lot of times those 2 parties would never have met if you weren't the conduit to get them, you know, into that room. So that part is a lot of fun.
Yeah, I can imagine. I'd be curious, to understand it from your perspective. And then I'd love to talk about your sales training stuff. But,
Mm-hmm.
The last 10 months has been kind of wild with AI, with the different chat bots, the chat GPTs, the craziness there. How has that helped, or how has that impacted what you guys do specifically in recruiting, in touching base with people or talking to people? And this is kind of funny, but have you ever seen, there's a gal that used to be the CEO of Bumble. It's a dating app.
Yeah.
And she talked about this. This was like 6 months ago. I was listening to one of her keynotes, and she goes, here in 5 years, my AI bot will be talking to another gal's AI bot, and they'll actually be dating before two humans actually date. And I was sitting here going, that's such an interesting perspective,
It's wild.
to hear that. It's wild, man. But in your world, this kind of same thing is happening to a certain extent. You know what I mean? I know we're not talking about dating, we're talking about recruiting, but it's almost the same thing.
Yeah.
How have you used it, or what's the story?
So we don't use a lot of broad outreach tools that are AI based because I think it's really easy to tell because a lot of the copy is really bad. So I think one of our strongest suits as an organization is copy. I think that everyone on our team is a really good writer. And so if you look at their posts and the things that they talk about, or a lot of our content comes from the team. So we'll poll the team, hey, what's a fun, cool topic to talk about? And so they help come up with copy, and then we edit it and it gets out there. I say all that to say, we certainly use AI tools to be more efficient. There are things that you can use for research, things that you can use to come up with ideas. But generally speaking, the final product coming from us is not AI driven, because I think that loses a bit of authenticity. But I'm a big fan of using AI for efficiency. So I want to be able to build the strongest team and put a bunch of jetpacks on them so they can go and do more. And those jetpacks are AI. They're tools that allow you to be more efficient at your job. But the human interaction, the messaging, the outreach, the touch points, that's truly authentic and coming from our team. But we do use tools to find and be in front of the right people consistently. But the messaging, I think, man, I get messages all day, people selling to me or things of that nature. And I'm like, the first line will be, in the world of transportation, it's like a rocket ship emoji. I'm like, bro, I know you got that from ChatGPT. Like that's not good. So it's just like really easy to point out, but I'm a big fan of using tools to equip your people to go do more. And we see that a lot with clients that we work with too. There's a lot of use cases. It will continue to become more prevalent for sure.
Yeah. I don't want to lie. I've used AI. We all use it.
We all do. Yeah.
When I grew up, I wasn't as professional as I am now. So even back, when I'm trying to write up an email, I'm like, all right, I got to make it not sound like high school Nate or college Nate. It needs to be a little bit more professional. So I love using AI in a sense of like, okay, give me some ideas of maybe how to reword something a little bit more professionally, but also still sound like Nate. Because, I think I'm a unique person.
Yeah.
But I can see how it does help. But definitely, we talked with many of our subscribers, and they've, they're big fans of AI, and you can tell when it's not them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When you talk to them on the phone and talk to them via email, it's like, oh, this isn't you. But But yeah, no, I would say I'm a big fan of it, but I also think you still got to be yourself, and that's what I love about you, Will. Because we follow you on LinkedIn, obviously, and you can just tell it's you. Like the way you're talking now and the way you talk on LinkedIn, it's just you.
It's so genuine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Anytime I need a pump up sesh, I just go to your page and it's kind of fun. So
every day on the phone, I'm like, go look at Will's page.
Man, I appreciate that. I had a conversation with a really, really good business mentor about a week ago about authenticity, and that matters to me. I want to be able to be the same person that I am 24/7 with clients. Obviously, you're going to present yourself professionally, someone that they can trust, someone that's reputable, and you might have a different set of language that you use with close friends than you do a client, but I want to be the same person. And I think when people are able to feel that, it's just so much easier to do business with them, because you're like, this is the same person they are. They're not representing themselves any differently. It's more fun that way.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I tried to explain to my dad what ChatGPT was, and that conversation didn't go the way.
Wild.
Yeah. Like having a conversation. It's actually very entertaining. Go try to explain to your dad. And my dad's 80 or 79. If he's watching, I think he's actually 79, but I call him 80. I round up when you get up there. And trying to explain to him what ChatGPT is, he's like, so why don't you just Google it? And I'm like, Dad, when was the last time Google gave you an answer?
I have the best way, I think, to explain ChatGPT to someone that might not be tech savvy.
Oh, I love it. Let's hear it.
So imagine if you went to Google something and it just answered the question. There weren't links. There wasn't stuff for you to parse through. You said like, hey, can you explain this to me? And it just answered the question.
Right.
That's like essentially, I mean, it's really cool. Obviously you got to, fact check certain things. It's not always going to be 100%, but you look up something, it tells you the answer to it, plus or minus, a level of accuracy, depending on what the topic is.
That's perfect.
Yeah, for those of you who are watching, you still can't get good sports betting advice from there. I'm just letting everyone know.
Wow.
We've tested it.
Yeah, we've tried. Some of the games were actually from last week, so that didn't do us any good at all.
That's funny.
Will, you have what I find very interesting about Jared. You guys have what do you call it? It's an AI role-playing tool, right?
Yep.
And I'm really interested to hear more about this and how this can help, because a lot of even myself, some days I'm like, I need to role play with someone, just kind of make sure I'm doing this right. But tell me a little bit more about the AI role playing tool, if you could, and maybe give our viewers an idea of what that is.
Totally. So one of the things that we offer is training. And so we have asynchronous pre-recorded training that people can take. It's got follow-up lessons. You record your value proposition, you work on some cold calls, things of that nature, but you don't get any live feedback because there's not anyone there to like proctor the exam and work through the things. You do the coursework and then you kind of go do your job, right? So as we thought about adding more layers to our training, we're doing a sales boot camp in September, which I'll be running on my own and actually doing live training. That'll be a lot of fun. And we figured, man, what's another way to give our clients access to a tool that can allow their reps to practice 24/7? Let's find a nice role playing, tool that they can get in there and you can talk to Nate. And Nate is a transportation manager at a food and beverage company. Let's say it's Olipop, for example, and they make, sodas and beverages. That role-playing agent that we have, the robot, is going to respond the same way that transportation manager would. We input all these objections, all these things, their thoughts about brokers, asset-based providers, national, regional, RFPs, spot freight, all this stuff. And now you can have a back and forth and a cold call, a warm call, a discovery call. But from my perspective, the best reps I've ever worked with practice their craft before they got good at it. Mm-hmm. And if you step up to bat and you've never had a good role-playing session before you have that first call with the customer, it's probably not going to go that well. So we figured, hey, let's figure out a way to be able to give our clients access to something like that. So we have clients that license it today. They put their reps through it along with our training. We have clients that license it today standalone. So they have their own training and they put their reps through the role-playing tool. And then everyone that attends our boot camp in September will get access to the role-playing tool for a month. So just wanted to be able to bolster it, because I think for the training that we offer to be comprehensive, you have to instruct, but then you need to test. And so for people to be able to test, you have to have a place to go role play, hear your call, see your transcript, get feedback, stuff like that.
I love that.
I do too.
Very unique.
I can't get enough of that. I honestly, my kid who's 13 just started playing baseball this last year. Right. And he's way behind the curve. There's kids that have started like at 2, and those cats can just drop bombs. Right. And it was interesting. I started talking to him at the beginning of the year. I'm like, hey, buddy, I just want you to know, you're going to have to put some reps in. You're going to have to, those kids have 1,000 cuts on you, maybe 5,000 cuts on you. You've got to catch up, or at least attempt to get in 1,000 cuts. And no kidding, he put in the craziest amount of work to be able to hit a ball, right? And see that, and it was just 1,000 reps. Just you got to get enough reps, and that's the difference between good and great, right? Is that
100%.
The great people have the reps, they have the hour.
100%.
And so I love this.
So I mean, I look at myself, and I've never been the most talented at anything that I've ever done. I'm like a normal size cat. I'm like 5'9" and some change. Normal weight. I played football in college. I had to do a lot of work to become a starter, all these things, like definitely people that are better than me, but I'm not a stranger to doing the work. And then what I realized over time was that's kind of the concept for anything. In the beginning, you won't be good. You can't be a stranger. You can't be afraid of doing the work. You got to go and put your time in. Eventually, you'll go from, not being good to average and average to good. And if you really, really keep working, you can become excellent at it.
Yeah.
Apply that to sales, apply that to business. It doesn't matter. You can do the same thing conceptually.
Yeah.
Especially nowadays, like you always had to find yourself to make you look different or sound different. We talked with many brokers last week that they're sending us their sales calls and their emails. It's like you sound like just everyone else. How do you make yourself look different, sound different, unique, and what value are you providing?
Yeah,
man. You want to hear something funny? So last week we're working with one of our consulting clients that we've been with since February, and so we know their business very well. We work really deeply with their sales reps, so we help curate emails. We help with research. We're spending probably 30 to 90 minutes per week with each rep, just working through different scenarios, role playing, helping them price rate, the whole deal. And one of them got a very positive response from a massive multi-billion-dollar company that everyone wants to work with, strictly based on sending a curated, extremely specific targeted email that was different than what everybody else sends. And my stance is always, would you rather send 100 blanket generic emails? Hey, my name's Johnny with ABC Company. We're really good at moving freight. Our service is the best. Can we get on your RFP? Or would you rather send 30 to 40 researched emails that know something about Nate and eCarrierCheck that make you read that email and say, oh, this is something I probably should respond to, or at least not delete, because I know you're not going to respond to all of them. But if I can warm up your inbox and get you to the point where you go, okay, like this person makes sense, what they're saying is relevant, and they've done their research. So like, sure, I'll give you a chance to talk to me. That doesn't mean I'm going to guarantee you the business. It's the easiest way to cut through the noise, because everybody else is saying generic, bland, cookie cutter stuff. And it was so cool to see their response. The rep was hyped. I'm like, yeah, this is sick, because you spent the time to do the research to say something different.
Right.
See, that's huge. Yeah. Like everything, like, God, that's so good. I love that you're doing that kind of niche aspect. I mean, the guy that we met with last week, we really steered him in the question, that same exact concept where it's like, hey, if this is what you're good at, then just focus on that. You said something on your LinkedIn the other day. You can't be everything to everybody. It was friggin' ridiculous. You can't be everything to everyone. Oh my gosh, I love that. You know what I mean? Like, you just can't do it.
Can't do it.
It's so good. So, Will, obviously, you do the recruiting. You can go in that way. You're doing this AI sales training, and then you consult. Talk a little bit about the consulting aspect of your business. Is everybody doing? Is just Will Jenkins, or is it?
Yeah.
How are you helping people in that space?
So the consulting side of our organization is really small from a team perspective. By that, I mean, it's just me. And, I actually like it that way because of quality control.
Yeah.
I probably have one or two other really high level industry veterans that I trust implicitly to go in and do certain projects with clients. So from time to time, I'll tap them. Hey, can you spend an hour with this client to work through this specific thing? Because they're incredible at what they do. But I really don't have plans to scale this, because it's not super scalable, right? You spend a couple hours working on some stuff, and then you might have an engagement that is 1 to 2 hours per week. But I would rather have it be small, specific, a tight-knit group of organizations that we get to know really well, which is where we are today. We have about 12 consulting clients,
Nice.
Some of which are shorter term projects, and then 4 to 6 are probably going to last the entire year. But that's great, because I know their business, I know their team. And at this point, we're like a fractional part of their executive team, peeling back layers to look at different things to help them go and succeed. But a lot of the engagements are around process. So sales process, go-to-market strategy, structure, messaging, branding type stuff. How are you represented in the market? How do you structure your sales team? And then we can look at different areas of the business, but super sales focused a lot of times, go-to-market strategy type stuff, which is a lot of fun.
See, that's awesome. You obviously have an incredible background from Molo, from all those aspects. We have an interesting carrier following here, and I love the carriers that are on our show. some of them really struggle, and a lot of them are owner operators or smaller companies. A lot of those cats, struggle with, spending time or being more intentional in growing their business. Do you have any advice or kind of thoughts on what they could do just incrementally to move their business forward for the last 4 months of this year?
Totally. So we actually have a fair amount of asset-based clients on the consulting side, which is interesting because the sales process is relatively similar. I want to find direct shippers to work with. I have assets to leverage. I've got certain regions or certain lanes or certain commodities that I'm better at. And so it's not super different than selling for brokers, except you got a leg up because you own the assets. So a lot of times that's intriguing to clients. And so we want to be able to use that as bait to get them to have conversations. And so when I think about the next couple of months, like we're really into RFP season. By that, I mean, customers are considering who they're going to add to their RFP as they roll into Q4 into Q1. And so if you want to put yourself in a position to have more direct shippers, you need to be strategically building your list of clients that you want to work with and building those relationships outbound today so that you are considered as someone that they might allow to bid on their RFP. And you need to figure out what types of clients are good and which ones are not a fit. I think the hardest part in the beginning is deciding who's a good customer and who's not, because everybody's not a good customer for you. And so if you run a fleet today, I'll just use an example. Say you're a Chicago-based organization that has refrigerated units and you want to stay generally in the Midwest. So Illinois, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Michigan, Indiana, whatever, right? Every customer under the sun is not going to be a fit for you. You need to figure out which customers in that region are a fit, which of them have the type of freight that aligns with the type of equipment that you have, which ones you think you can connect with, who can you go see in person, and you got to attack. It needs to be very focused daily effort. And so the organizations that we're most successful with in a consulting capacity have a lot of buy-in at the ownership and executive level to do the small things every day to build their book of business. So what does that mean? I've got 250 clients that I want to reach out to. Fantastic. I'm going to reach out to 30 every day. If you don't reach out to 30 every day for 90 days, you're not going to build a book of business. I don't know what else to tell you. So the ones that succeed, do it every day. The ones that don't succeed, get excited. They do it for a week. And then we circle back at the end of our engagement and say, hey, how are we doing? Oh, I got busy. Okay, well, there's no way for you to build traction with your pipeline if you're not consistently doing it day after day. We need you in front of customers, outbound. And then a little extra tidbit I'll give you is that clients are making buying decisions 24/7. And they need information to know whether or not you're a good fit for their business. So how are they going to get that information? The internet. They're on your website. They're on your LinkedIn. They're on your Instagram, Facebook, all these different things. And so if you're not leveraging the ability to sell when you're not in the room, it's really hard for somebody to get that email or that cold call and go, I've never heard of you. There's no collateral, no place for me to go see you. So help yourself win by creating this brand externally that people can reference when they go, I need a strong Midwest refrigerated carrier. Well, shoot, if I can't find anything about you, I'm probably not going to pay attention to your calls or emails.
Yeah, there's something to be said about everything you just said. This industry, it almost seems like you don't get any sleep. You have to do all the socials. You have to make yourself different. You have to be dedicated to your sales pipeline. I get it. It's tough and you're just tired mentally. I get that. But, if you're trying to go on in this industry, you definitely got to put your all into it. You know what I mean? Understand why you're doing this and how are we going to get there. So, you talk about managing that pipeline and reaching out to 30 people a day or customers. I know it sounds, this sounds tiring, or maybe it just sounds too, sales anxiety is a real thing. Obviously, we talk to a lot of new freight brokers, and I think it's the anxiety that does it. But I just think you gotta stay dedicated, man.
Yeah,
it's a tough industry.
Yeah, you just got to keep pushing. Absolutely, you don't have a choice. Something I think is interesting that he said is just, having the ability to identify who you should be going after. That's probably the noisiest part of the pipeline. You know what I mean? Like, who is it that works? Do you have any advice on how people should be choosing those, or what is it that you do in order to find the right clients? Because, a lot of carriers, a lot of brokers, carriers have a little more advantage because they're literally driving up and going, huh, I see that truck. That's kind of like mine. And they see the docks. They see kind of where they like to be in a ribbon aspect of moving in the same lanes. But how do you give that advice? Like, how do you clear that noise and pick the right people?
So typically the place we start in a lot of our consulting engagements is building the go-to-market strategy for clients with them. So we have a pretty comprehensive document where we go from, we'll start at the top, mode. What modes do you provide today? We do full truckload refrigerated, full truckload dry, open deck, LTL. We'll just rattle them off, right? We provide all these modes. Fantastic. What organizations today do you successfully transact with that you like? Okay, it's, ABC company, XYZ company. Okay, fantastic. What commodities do they move? They move beverages. This one is a produce company. This one is meat. Okay, what do they care about? Well, the produce company cares about on-time delivery, the right equipment, communication, 24/7 tracking, whatever it might be. The meat company cares that we have the right level of insurance. Same thing with product integrity, all these things, right? So you start listing good clients that you transact with today and their characteristics. And then you start to build iterations of those good clients. So if you like them, they pay well, you understand their pain points, there's thousands of people just like that where your stories of success apply to them. So let's go sell to like companies, but we can build this out. These are the modes, these are the commodities, these are the value drivers for those. Here are examples of current customers. And then you go, where do we find them? Okay, is it trade shows? Is it LinkedIn? Is it cold calling, emailing? Do you send snail mail, the whole deal? Okay, great. Let's go to the top. What do you do distinctly well that makes those people that you transact with today want to work with you? Well, we do this, we do that, we do that. Okay, cool. Let's write these stories out. Now let's put all that together and say, these customers we transact with successfully because they care about these things, and this is the service we provide. Go find every version of that customer, disregard everybody else. I don't care about the other ones.
Yeah. And I took Anthony Iannarino and Jeb Blunt put in a sales training deal about a month ago. I took it. It was like how to use AI in your sales process. I tell you what, if you just put in the client that you like into ChatGPT and say, tell me 50 other people, holy buckets, all of a sudden you got your pipeline in 4 seconds, right? And then it's just a matter of working through the process. So I love, that clarity, because I think that's probably the biggest issue is a lot of people just don't know where to start, or they just can't get clear enough to make it work. Because they just think, they're a big box company. They have to be good for my business. So
yeah, not necessarily.
Yeah, exactly. I love that, Will. So I'm talking about a lot of value right there. If you guys are watching and you're confused on your pipeline, rewind 4 minutes and just do all that, because this is everything. This is all of it, what it all takes. I love that. You just bring in the house today, Will.
We bring the heat, man. There's some simple fundamentals that you can do that transform your business, but it's really hard to know who to sell to if you haven't focused on who's a good fit for your business. And we do the same thing at Journey, right? There's a particular style of brokerage or asset-based company or asset-based brokerage that we are more successful with recruiting, training, and consulting. And so those are the only ones that we can talk to.
That's incredible. Well, on the recruiting side of things, do you do any driver placement at all or anything like that?
We don't.
It's just the executive side of things.
Yeah, most of the roles that we place are director level or above, or experienced sales reps. We do carrier sales roles, a little bit of account management. A lot of people right now, just by nature of the market, are looking for revenue generating roles. So they want experienced sellers.
Yeah, absolutely. Will, I love everything you guys are doing. Incredible aspect of this industry needs people like you to really keep pushing the ball forward, keep rising the value of what people are saying. Obviously, you've got a big training coming up that you mentioned. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yes. So September 10th, 11th, and 12th, we are running the inaugural Journey Sales Bootcamp. When we looked at starting Journey, I thought about what I wanted this business to be for years. And one of the first things was a place where people could send sales reps to get high quality training so they could go back to their brokerage and build a book of business. And so it is applicable for entry-level people that don't know freight. It's applicable for people that know freight but don't know how to sell. and it's applicable for people who have been in freight for a while and need a framework to build their book of business. So we have executives and owners that are attending. We have reps that are individual contributors attending. And so over 3 days, 3 hours per day, we'll be running reps through how to build their value proposition, value drivers for different shippers, things to think about with commodities and modes. So kind of the exercise we talked about with figuring out your go-to-market strategy, similar thing for how do I sell to Nate if Nate works at a food distributor or a manufacturer, or he works at a steel company, or he works at a produce company. They all care about different stuff. So how do I change my messaging to make it interesting to him? How do I make my cold calls? So what am I prepared for before the call? How do I do my research? How do I manage my pipeline? So, hey, these are all the companies that I've got traction with. I need to be on top of those. These are ones that are really good, but I haven't really gotten any traction yet. So I need to figure out a way to crack those. How do you write good emails, cold emails, things of that nature? And then we'll cold call together, write emails, do some role playing. And then at the end, we'll wrap up. Everyone that is a part of the boot camp will get a 30-minute one-on-one with me to talk about whatever. So I'm excited about it. It was the main reason why I wanted to start Journey, to be honest with you. And now we're at the point to be able to run a session like this. So we've got a couple of spots left. It's almost full.
That's sick. I was going to ask you, is it limited space, or how do people hear about this, read about it, look it up?
Yeah. Limited space. We are capping the cohort at 10. So we have just a couple of spots left, and they can go to academy.journeydelivers.com. And then at the top, click Sales Bootcamp and register there. And then everyone that is in the Sales Bootcamp also gets access to our pre-recorded training and our community for 3 months. So one of the things that we do is we run live trainings 1 to 2 times per month for people in our community, just to kind of give them access to some more training resources. So everyone that's in the boot camp will get access to that as well.
That's awesome.
That's incredible. Well, obviously you are on LinkedIn. Is there any other platforms people can connect with you on currently?
I am most available on LinkedIn, but I also am on Twitter and Instagram and stuff like that. But on LinkedIn, just Will Jenkins. My email is will@journeydelivers.com. So feel free to reach out to either of those and I'll be able to get back to you.
I friggin' love it.
Thanks, Will.
Well, thank you for being on, man. A lot of value, a lot of just people just need to follow the basics and just do it.
Thank you very much.
So we'll have a great week. Enjoy. I'm excited to see how this class goes and the outcomes, because a lot of people will spread that fire, man. It'll be awesome.